Did I hear you right? What exactly are you talking about?
Honey, I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm just telling you what the man said.
All right, now what man? And how come he has access to an FBI file?
Wait now, one more time. Exactly what you got over the phone, slowly.
Well, they traced the letter that was included in the documents that were sent to Jack. Apparently, it was written on Jill's office typewriter.
But that's impossible.
Well, it is possible they would leak false information to shake people up, see who changed his story. Now, this report may not even exist except as a ploy. Go on, Bob. What was supposedly found in her files?
Well, let's see. The letter about Leclerc with your signature. How about the snow memo? Copies of everything that was sent to Jack. I mean, this is the inside guy, Frank. He's never been wrong before. I don't think they're playing games.
I moved out of that office weeks ago. It's empty. I haven't been there since I gave up my job and left for San Francisco. I mean, attempted to leave for San Francisco. Look, you remember that night you came and we got stuck in the elevator, all those cartons? They were filled with my files. Now, all those files are stored in the hospital basement. And as far as that typewriter is concerned, they probably issued it to somebody else by now. Do you understand what I'm saying? I had no access to the files, the typewriter, or the office. I couldn't do it even if I wanted to.
Well, Jill, you know, where the files are now really doesn't matter very much. I mean, they could have laid around forever before they got stored. Same way with the typewriter.
Yeah, they'd assumed that you planned it weeks ago.
I didn't plan anything.
Honey, no one is accusing you. We're thinking out loud. We have to talk about this to figure it out. We have to ask the important questions. How did those documents get into her files? And how was that note typed on her typewriter?
Right.
It wasn't.
Well, you know, machines leave identifying marks. An expert can trace that.
Nobody can trace it because I never wrote the note.
Look, sweetheart, he isn't saying you wrote it.
Well, he isn't saying that I didn't write it either. I'm sorry. It's just that I thought that I had dealt with all their suspicions.
What do you mean?
The FBI interviewed me for 3 hours, and most of it was pretty unpleasant. I didn't tell you the details because I didn't want to come crying to you, and besides, everybody else has been investigated too in some way or another. My point is that they have questioned me, and I've answered them. The important questions, the trivial ones, the embarrassing ones, the ones that made me feel humiliated. I have told them the truth, and I don't give a damn what's in their reports. I tell you one thing, though. I have one question that I want one answer to.
Yeah.
I know that there was a time when I said that Frank would be better off without politics. Because it was a hassle for me. It was an intrusion. It was demanding. And right now, I just want to know that you believe me. I mean, 100% without any reservations.
Sweetheart, you know we love you.
Yes, but do you believe me? I want a yes or no answer from each one of you.
Faith?
I'm in here.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, don't get up.
I was getting up anyway. I think I've got to go to the store.
You think?
Roger, I'm not an invalid. And the only reason I am lying here is because I just put in 11 and a half hours at the hospital.
All the more reason that you shouldn't get up.
You are as bad as Jill.
How's that?
You both protect me and coddle me as if I were bone china.
Oh, is that so? Then, how do you explain the fact that you're back at the hospital full-time with our blessings?
Because you couldn't stop me.
Would you believe that I dropped by because I had an empty apartment, and I, too, just spent a number of hours at the hospital, And it was easier for me to spend a little time with you than contemplate this morning's dirty breakfast dishes. Would you buy that?
Yeah, but you're still taking care of me.
It's because I'm your big brother. How are you, really?
Really? Well, I tend to brood about Tom when I'm not busy. That's why working is so good. I know I have to see people. In fact, I was thinking about going to Ryan's tonight for dinner. But I can't, not yet. I guess the fact is I do feel fragile.
Bone china, huh?
I'm handling myself every bit as carefully as you and Jill. Thank you. You come in here, you bring light and music. Jill calls to reassure me about Jack's column. Says Frank's okay, she's okay, I shouldn't worry. My family's insulating me. And not always would I admit that I like it. But I do now. Because I need it now. Just until I feel brave again.
Well, I was going to protect you from this, but I really don't have the right. Besides, it's not bad news. Pat wanted me to give it to you.
Pat's gone after Nancy to Texas. I wish you love and happiness, and I hope Nancy and I find the same. Always, Pat.
He wanted to see you, but there just wasn't enough time.
I talked to him for a few minutes at the funeral. Well, I thought Tom and I would have more time. I thought we'd have years and years.
I know.
I'm glad for Pat and Nancy. Tom and I should have been so lucky. He should not have died. We were talking about having a baby when he took the stupid fall. How is all this possible? Why?
I wish to God I could have saved him, Faith. I'd do anything to do it again, to do it right.
We interrupt with the late news bulletin. A secret FBI report names Mrs. Jillian Bolak as the source of documents incriminating Senator Frank Ryan. Ryan is accused of accepting bribes in return for the creation of a national campaign to elect him vice president.
Honey, look, it's all right. It's just gossip. They're crazy. They're so desperate for news that they're going after the nearest victim. Jill's okay.
Oh, she's not. We're all falling apart. We're helpless. Oh, Tom.
We're not helpless. Surely there's something we can do.
What? We can't bring Tom back to life, and we sure as hell can't stop the FBI.
Maybe we can. Maybe. Look, I've got to go out for a while, and I'll talk to you later, okay?
Will you be downstairs?
Yeah. But I have to run an errand first. Bye.
Hello. You've been on my mind all afternoon.
Yeah, well, you've been on my mind for about 15 minutes.
Well, how nice that you finally picked up on my signal.
Yeah, well, I picked up on your radio signals, Ray, and right now I'm not in the mood to play games. I just heard your news bulletin, which effectively destroys both my sisters, and right now I could wring your neck.
Roger, I don't know what you're talking about.
Ray, isn't it enough that you're wrecking Frank's life? Can't you be satisfied getting to Jill through him? How dare you implicate her? You're the one that sent those documents. You're the ones that framed Frank. And right now, I am perilously close to turning you in.
I didn't know anything about a news bulletin. What did it say?
It says that the FBI suspects Jill of turning in Frank and handing over those papers to Finelli. You know damn well what it says.
No, I don't, but I'm delighted.
Well, I'm disgusted.
How very unfortunate. Didn't you just say something a little while ago about turning me in, or was that my imagination?
Ray, I suggest you find a way to call off the FBI.
Oh, it's not my report. How could I?
Fine. Fine, then I'll take it upon myself to straighten them out once and for all.
Roger! You're acting as if you don't know that I don't know that you're responsible for Tom's death and that you changed those hospital reports. What makes you think that I won't go to Marshal Westheimer with that information? How can you possibly threaten me?
Because it'll be your word against mine, and I am a very convincing person, Ray.
You're also very naive. I, on the other hand, happen to believe in insurance. And I arranged a little for myself. Just on the off chance that it should turn out to be your word against mine. Ready? Listen to this. It might help to talk.
There really isn't anything to say. Medically, I made a mistake in judgment which caused the death of my brother-in-law. There's no record of the error, of course, but...
You know, I'm still not sure I quite understand how you managed that.
It wasn't complicated. I changed the medical records. Anyone could have done it. I wish I could believe anyone else would.
You did what you had to. And so did I, Roger. See? Want it? I've got a lot of copies. No? All right. Now we go on to my next step, which is why you've been on my mind all afternoon.
No more, Ray. You've gone far enough.
No. No, you see, it's very important that the FBI stay confused. So to that end, you and I are going to reveal a little secret to the rest of the world. Jill told you that those documents were sent to her. They were sent anonymously. Now, she hadn't decided what to do with them, but you know that she had them. And now you've decided to turn her in.
I won't do it, Ray. You can blackmail me into keeping quiet, but there's no way I'm going to tell that lie.
Oh, I think there is. When you realize that the alternative is to lose your job and leave medicine.
No.
Oh, I admire your resolve. Mind if I test it? By taking this over to Faith and playing it for her? Or are you going to be sensible and cooperate with me? Faith, do you know that Kevin has the doors locked?
Yes, I did. We're officially closed.
There's a whole bunch of people that want to come in. There's a couple looking in the window. There must be 5 or 6 people out there in a cable TV van or something.
Dear, it's either a question of shutting them out or letting them take over. Do you know that there was a reporter that wandered his way up to the living room before? I practically had to throw out the TV crew. Little John is upset. We all need an hour or so of peace and quiet around here.
Yeah, but think of the money you're losing. $5 a piece. Well, I guess everybody needs some quiet time.
Mm-hmm.
I can use some after the day I've had.
Excuse me, Little John has polished 1.5 feet of the bar rail and is calling for more rags.
Oh, there's some under the sink. Give him the lot.
Little John's in there?
Yes, Kevin put him to work, polishing the brass rail at the bar.
You nearly trampled him coming in. I thought for sure you'd seen him.
No, all I saw was you pretending not to see me pounding on the door. He almost didn't let me in.
Oh, dear, you get off your high horse.
Listen, I've had a hard enough day without you making it worse. And I don't appreciate your making my son get down on his hands and knees to do your work. Well, I don't.
It was my idea. It makes Little John happy, dear. I suppose it's because he knows that his father earned his first dollar doing that. So, naturally, he feels grown up and useful. And close to his father. Maybe the brass rail gets polished, and then maybe again, maybe it doesn't. But I'm just thinking of ways how to keep Little John's mind off the troubles that are going on around here.
I guess that's a good idea.
You know that a child at school the other day actually commented to Little John about Francis.
About Frank?
Yes, about Frank. Haven't you been reading the newspapers? Delia, is there nothing that goes on in this world important to you outside of your little world? Forgive me.
I'm
I'm sorry. I've got to get to these muffins. I promised the boy these.
Would it help if I took him to the park or something?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it would. I think you'd like that.
Well, I will. Real soon. If you're not mad at me, can we talk a little?
Certainly.
Well, that's good, because I had this funny experience today. The bananas I bought were hard, not ripe at all. How about you? How are your bananas?
Tilly, I'm afraid I've been too busy with the FBI and the press to be worried about food. Of course. I mean, if you'd like, I probably could. I mean, I could probably forget about Francis and concentrate on bananas for you.
Well, if you want to.
Well, now let's see. About bananas. I threw the last of them out the other day because it's much too cool for cold fruit. No, it's time to be thinking about sweaters and wool. Yes, turn the thermostats down and put on the woolens. Isn't that strange? I haven't been able to think about bananas. I've only been thinking about wool. Now, isn't that peculiar?
No, not if you think about it. It's getting cold now. Of course. I have to run, Maeve. Listen, thank you for the chat.
Oh, well, I thought you said that you were going to take Little John for a walk to the park.
Oh, I can't right now, but maybe tomorrow I will. Bye.
Delia, pull the door hard behind you so it'll lock. Easy come, easy go.
She came by for some of Maeve's famous unconscious tips on the commodities.
Ah, did she get one? I pray that's a yes. Oh, please, God, let her invest in failed crops and endangered species and doomed inventions and She left the bloody door open.
Ray, Roger, I'm afraid we're closed for business.
Maeve, I just heard the news.
What news?
And I want you to know that I'm sorry, and I know it couldn't possibly be true.
Couldn't possibly be
we're going to take little John out for a walk in the park.
Francis, what is this woman talking about? Has something else happened?
Well, we do have some new information, but I doubt it's what you came about.
I'm here about the radio broadcast. And I want you to know that no matter what has happened between us, I would never wish that on you, and I do know that you will be cleared.
Cleared? Of what?
It seems like the FBI is accusing me of sending all the information to Jack.
Oh, what nonsense.
And you heard that on the radio?
I heard it too, Frank.
Oh, great.
Oh, no, leaks happen. It doesn't matter how. What matters is that Jill did not send that material to Jack, and we all know it. You know, it tells me that Jill's being framed, too. Who's ever behind all of this wants both of us hurt, and I didn't realize that before. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Frank, I don't understand any of it all. I wish I could sort it out. Somebody has to, or else everything that we've worked for is just going to go right down the drain. It's just going to...
Okay, Ray. Okay.
You know something? It wasn't easy for me to come here. And I meant what I said to you before very, very sincerely, but obviously by now I have to get out of here for my own sake. And for yours. You said that there was something you wanted to say. I'm sure I'll be in your way as well, won't I?
Well, there's no cause to leave, Ray. I only have one thing to say, and it won't take long.
Roger, do you know something about my problems?
Well, it's about my sister's part in your problems.
Go on.
When I first heard the news broadcast, my first thought was, it's impossible. My second thought was, well, maybe it isn't. Suppose I were in Jill's shoes. Suppose in some way my whole being was threatened, and unless I did something drastic, knowing myself, I'd probably do it.
Yes, but you're not Jillian.
No, Maeve, you're right, I'm not. Which brought me to my final conclusion. The FBI is crazy. An underhanded, vicious trick like that just isn't in you. And that is my statement for the day.
Thanks. Very difficult thing to do. Put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Imagine your entire future threatened unless you do something drastic. Very well said.
I'll speak to you later. Okay?
Sure.
Nice of you to take the trouble.
Yeah, well, there wasn't anything else I could do. Bye.
Hey, it's all right. It's all right.
I don't know. Oh, sure. People believe you that love you. I mean, they think you're innocent, but what about everybody else? You need proof. And without proof, it's not gonna be all right.
What if the perfect guy for you is in LA, or DC, or New York City? Get ready to take a holiday, a new original reality series, all new tonight at 10 on SoapNet.